Today is not an ordinary day. It looks like one. The sun rose the same way it always does. The world outside your window is moving at its usual pace. Cars, noise, people rushing to places that mean nothing to them. Nothing seems different, but something is different. Somewhere, right now, a decision is being made, one you cannot see, one you were never told about. But it will reach you soon. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. But it is already on its way. There is a meeting coming, not one written on your calendar, not one you scheduled with a reminder on your phone. This is a different kind of meeting, a meeting between what you have prayed for and what you have been avoiding. You have felt it, haven't you? That quiet unrest in your chest that you can't quite explain. That restlessness that shows up right before you fall asleep. That sense that something is shifting, even though nothing around you has visibly changed. That is not anxiety. That is preparation. Your soul knows things before your mind is ready to accept them. And right now, your soul is telling you something is coming. For the next 5 years of your life are not decided by luck. They are not decided by chance or timing or the people around you. They are decided by moments exactly like this one. Quiet, unremarkable moments where you either answer the call or you let it pass in silence the way you have let so many moments pass before. Listen carefully, because what I am about to tell you, you will only hear once. Before I go any further, I want you to think back, not to your whole life, not to years ago, but to this past week, just the last 7 days. Think carefully. Was there a moment this week when you woke up suddenly at 3 a.m. for no clear reason, heart steady but mind wide awake, as if something had gently nudged you out of sleep? Was there a name that crossed your mind out of nowhere, someone you hadn't thought about in months, and then strangely you heard from them or about them within days? Did a stranger say something to you in passing that felt oddly specific? A comment that had no reason to affect you, and yet it sat with you the rest of the day? Did you feel an unexplainable pull towards something, a place, a decision, a conversation you have been avoiding, and then just as quickly talk yourself out of it? Did you notice a repeating number, a repeating pattern, a song that played at the exact moment you needed to hear its words? If even one of these happened to you this week, I want you to understand something that was not random. These small, easily dismissed moments are the early signals of the meeting that is coming. They are not the meeting itself, they are the knock on the door before the door opens. Most people feel these signs and let them evaporate within minutes, explained away by a busy mind that has been trained to find the boring explanation for everything. But you are not most people. If you are still listening to this message, some part of you already suspects that these moments meant something. They did. Beyond this past week, there are signs that have been building for much longer, months, maybe even years. The dream that keeps repeating, always circling back to the same unresolved feeling. The recurring thought late at night that you are meant for something different than the life you are currently living, not necessarily bigger, but different, truer, more aligned with who you actually are underneath the roles you play for everyone else. The heaviness you feel in certain rooms, around certain people, doing certain tasks, a heaviness that has nothing to do with tiredness and everything to do with misalignment. The moments of unexpected joy that catch you off guard when you are doing something small, unrelated to your real life, and for a few minutes you feel more like yourself than you have in months. These are not coincidences. You have been taught by a world obsessed with logic and proof to dismiss these moments as randomness, to explain them away, to call them just a coincidence and move on with your day. But deep inside, in that place logic cannot reach, you know better. You know these are not accidents, they are invitations. And an invitation, if ignored long enough, eventually stops being offered. This is why today matters. This is why you are meant to hear this message at this exact moment on this exact day. Because the window is closing, and what is coming next will determine which version of your life you step into. There will be a conversation coming to you. It may come from a stranger, a friend, or someone you have not spoken to in years. It will seem small. It will seem unimportant, even forgettable. But it will carry the weight of everything that comes after. Do not dismiss it. Do not silence it with distraction, with noise, with the endless scrolling that fills the empty hours of your day. Because what is coming is not random, it is a crossroads. One path leads to the same cycle you have lived for years, the same doubts that whisper to you at 2 a.m. The same delays you tell yourself are temporary, the same excuses you have repeated so many times they no longer even feel like excuses, they feel like truth. You know this path. You have walked it before. It is comfortable because it is familiar. But comfort and peace are not the same thing. You can be comfortable and still be suffering. You can be comfortable and still be dying. Slowly, on the inside, one unlived day at a time. The other path leads somewhere you have not yet dared to imagine. It is unfamiliar, it is uncertain. It will require you to let go of the identity you have built around your limitations. I'm just not that kind of person. It's too late for me. That's not realistic for someone like me. These are not truths. These are walls you build brick by brick to protect yourself from disappointment. But walls that protect you from disappointment also protect you from everything else, including the life you were meant to live. You may be asking yourself, why me? Why now? Why does this message feel like it's speaking directly to my life? Because you are not brought here today by accident. If you are hearing this, something in you already knows that change is close. Not tomorrow, not next year, now, this season, this exact moment in your story. Think about how you got here to this very message on this very day. Think about the small decisions, the search you typed, the video you almost scrolled past but didn't. None of that was random. You were guided here. There is a difference between the people who hear a message like this and dismiss it and the people who hear it and let it settle into their bones. The ones who dismiss it will look back in 5 years and wonder why nothing changed. The ones who let it settle, who take it seriously, who treat this moment as sacred rather than coincidental, those are the ones who will look back and say, that was the day everything shifted. Which one will you be? Before we continue, I want you to pause with me just for a moment. Wherever you are right now, sitting, walking, lying down, take a slow breath in. Hold it for a second and let it out slowly. Now ask yourself honestly, without rushing to answer, what have I been avoiding? Not the big dramatic things you already know about. The quieter ones, the phone call you keep postponing, the conversation you know you need to have but haven't found the courage for, the decision that has been sitting half made in the back of your mind for weeks. Sit with that question. Don't judge the answer, just notice it. Now ask a second question. If nothing changed from this point forward, if I kept living exactly as I am living now, where would I be in 5 years? Let that answer sit with you too, even if it is uncomfortable, especially if it is uncomfortable. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to wake you gently the way a hand on your shoulder wakes you, not the way a sudden noise does. You are not being punished by this reflection. You're being invited by it. Whatever came up for you in this quiet moment, hold on to it. It matters more than you realize. Messages like this one are often met with the same response over and over from the people who take them seriously. One person shared how, years ago, they nearly ignored a similar feeling, a persistent, quiet sense that a change was coming. They were in a season of comfort, unwilling to disturb what felt stable, even though that stability had long since stopped feeling like peace. A single conversation, one they almost avoided, ended up reshaping the next several years of their life. Not because anything magical happened, but because they finally said yes to something they had been saying no to for a long time. Another person described a season of restlessness they couldn't explain, waking up early for no reason, feeling unsettled in a life that, on paper, looked fine. They later described that season as the quiet buildup before the biggest decision of their life, one they had delayed for years out of fear and one that, once finally made, brought a peace they said they hadn't felt in a decade. A third person spoke about ignoring these same kinds of signs for a long time, the repeating thoughts, the unexplainable pull toward change, until circumstances forced their hand. They often say the same thing in different words. I wish I had listened sooner. I wish I hadn't waited for life to force the decision I could have made freely. These reflections are not unique. In one form or another, almost everyone who looks back on a major turning point in their life describes the same pattern. The signs came first, quietly, and were ignored for a while, sometimes a long while, before they were finally acted upon. The only difference between the people who transform their lives and the people who stay exactly where they are is not the presence of these signs. Everyone receives them. The difference is what they choose to do once they notice them. Let's be honest with each other for a moment. You already know what staying the same costs you. You have lived it. You know what it feels like to wake up in the same place emotionally that you were a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago. You know the tiredness that comes not from working too hard, but from carrying the same unresolved weight for far too long. You know the quiet grief of watching time pass while you remain frozen, not because you don't want to change, but because change feels too big, too uncertain, too risky. But here is the truth no one tells you. Staying the same is not safe. It only feels safe. In reality, every day you delay the meeting that is coming, every day you avoid the conversation, the decision, the door that is opening, you are paying a cost. You are trading your future for the illusion of comfort today. 5 years will pass whether you change or not. That part is guaranteed. The only question is who you will be when those 5 years are over. So what does this meeting actually look like? How will you know when it arrives? It rarely looks dramatic. It rarely announces itself with fireworks or certainty. Instead, it looks like an ordinary moment that carries an extraordinary weight. It might be a phone call you almost don't answer. It might be a message from someone you had written off. It might be a job offer, a rejection, a diagnosis, a conversation with someone you love that finally says the thing that's been unsaid for years. It might be a single sentence someone says to you in passing, a sentence that lodges itself in your chest and refuses to leave. You will feel it before you understand it. There will be a stillness in the moment, a sense that time has slowed down, even if only for a few seconds. That stillness is not your imagination. That is the moment recognizing itself as significant. When it comes, do not rush past it. Do not fill the silence with noise. Sit with it. Let it speak. When that meeting comes, whether it is a phone call, a decision, a door opening, or a door quietly closing, do not look away. Say yes to what stirs your soul, even if your mind cannot yet explain why. Walk toward what makes you uncomfortable, because growth has never once lived inside your comfort. Every version of yourself that you admire, the version who is stronger, calmer, more at peace, more fulfilled, that version was built in the exact moments you wanted to run away, but chose to stay instead. This does not mean you leap blindly into every open door. It means you stop closing doors out of fear before you've even looked through them. It means you stop saying not yet to opportunities that will not wait forever. It means you finally trust the quiet voice inside you that has been trying to speak for years, but that you have drowned out with logic, with obligation, with the opinions of people who are never going to walk this path with you anyway. Before you can walk toward the new path, you must be willing to release your grip on the old one. This is often the hardest part, not because the old path is good for you, but because it is known. And the human heart, even when it is suffering, often prefers the pain it knows over the uncertainty it doesn't. Ask yourself honestly, what have you been holding on to simply because letting go feels too frightening? Is it a relationship that no longer nourishes you, but you stay because leaving feels like failure? Is it a job that drains you daily, but you stay because it is stable, even though that stability has slowly hollowed you out? Is it a belief about yourself, I'm not good enough, I always mess things up, people like me don't get second chances, that you have carried for so long it has become part of your identity? These are the things the meeting will ask you to release, not because they are worthless, but because your hands are too full of them to receive what is coming next. You cannot hold on to the old and grab the new at the same time. At some point, you must open your hands. Understand this. The moment you decide to change, fear will rise up loudly to stop you. It will whisper all the familiar lines. What if it doesn't work out? What if people judge you? What if you try and fail and everyone sees? What if this is just wishful thinking and nothing really changes? This fear is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. It is often a sign that you are on the right one. Fear rarely shows up for the roads that lead nowhere. It shows up loudest right before the roads that lead somewhere real. So when fear speaks, do not mistake its voice for truth. Fear is not trying to protect you from danger. It is trying to protect you from change, because change is unfamiliar, and the mind equates unfamiliar with unsafe. But unsafe and unfamiliar are not the same thing. You are allowed to walk into the unfamiliar and still be safe. In fact, that is the only way anything in your life has ever actually changed. Close your eyes for a moment, not literally, if you are reading this, but in your mind, and imagine two versions of your future 5 years from today. In the first version, nothing changed. You are standing in almost the exact same place you are standing today. The same worries, the same unspoken dreams quietly buried a little deeper each year. The same sentence running through your mind, one day I'll do something about this, except one day never came because you kept waiting for a more convenient moment that never arrived. Now imagine the second version. In this version, you said yes, you answered the meeting when it came, you walked through the uncomfortable door instead of the familiar one. It wasn't easy, there were setbacks, there were moments of doubt, there were days you almost turned back, but you didn't. And because of that one decision, the decision to stop avoiding and start answering, everything downstream of that moment changed. Your relationships changed because you finally set the boundaries you have been afraid to set. Your work changed because you finally pursued what actually mattered to you. Your peace changed because you stopped carrying the weight of a life you were only half living. Both versions of you exist right now as possibilities. Only one of them will become real. And the difference between them is not talent or luck or timing. The difference is whether you answer the meeting when it comes. You may wonder why this message is reaching you today specifically and not some other day. There is no such thing as a wasted moment when it comes to matters of the soul. If this message found you today, it is because today is when you needed to hear it, not yesterday, when you weren't ready, and not tomorrow, when it might already be too late to act on what's stirred in you right now. Trust that. Trust that the timing of your life, even the parts that feel delayed or difficult, are not mistakes. They are preparation. Every difficult season you have walked through was building something in you that you will need for what is coming next. You were not meant to arrive at this crossroads unprepared. Everything, every hardship, every disappointment, every quiet lesson learned in silence was preparing you for this exact moment. Before we close, take one more quiet moment with me. If you believe in prayer, offer this one silently in your own words. Ask for the courage to notice the meeting when it comes and the strength to answer it honestly without letting fear make the decision for you. If prayer is not your practice, simply offer yourself a promise instead, a quiet, private commitment that the next time you feel that pull, That nudge, that unmistakable sense that something is asking for your attention, you will not brush past it the way you may have before. Whichever way you choose to hold this moment, hold it seriously. Not everyone who hears a message like this will remember it by tomorrow, but you do not have to be like everyone. You only have to be the version of yourself who for once did not let the moment slip by unnoticed. I know messages like this one can feel at times larger than life, almost too poetic to apply to your specific, ordinary, everyday circumstances. So let me bring this back down to earth for a moment. This is not about waiting for something mystical to fall out of the sky and rearrange your life for you. It never works that way, no matter how much we wish it did. This is about paying attention. That is all it has ever been about. Paying attention to the quiet signals you have been trained to ignore, paying attention to the conversations you keep avoiding, paying attention to the version of yourself that shows up in your imagination when you allow yourself just for a moment to dream without limitation. The meeting is not a single dramatic event waiting to happen to you. It is every small moment of decision between now and whatever comes next. Every fork in the road where you choose either the familiar tiredness or the unfamiliar possibility. You do not need certainty to begin. You only need willingness. You do not need to have it all figured out today. You only need to stop pretending you don't already know. Somewhere inside you, what needs to change. That knowing has been with you for a long time, longer than you'd like to admit. It has waited patiently while you built reasons to delay it. It is still waiting now. The only real question left is not whether the meeting is coming. It is already on its way, whether you're ready or not. The real question is whether you will finally stop running from what you already know and start walking toward it instead. So here's what I ask of you. When the meeting comes, and it will come sooner than you expect, do not let it pass you by the way so many moments have passed before. Do not scroll past the sign because it feels inconvenient. Do not ignore the conversation because it feels uncomfortable. Do not talk yourself out of the decision because your mind has already decided it is too much, too risky, or not the right time. There will never be a perfect time. There will only be this time, the time you are in right now, today, on this exact day. 5 years from today, you will either be telling the story of the day you turned away or the story of the day you finally turned toward everything you were meant to become. The choice starts today. The meeting is coming. Will you be ready?